Hello and welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is a reading for Cancer. If Cancer is your sun, moon, or rising sign, or any of your other planetary placements, this is your reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Cancer, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Oh, there's a Four of Wands. That's a very, very lovely way to begin a reading. Let's put that into some context, all right? We're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. This is some very strong energy, a lot of major arcana just right here. We have the Chariot card. That's our patron card. Yes, I'm a Cancer too, solar Cancer. If there's anything you need me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. And the Path of the Serpent. Yeah, just kind of what I suspected. It doesn't really matter what's going on in our lives. There's always going to be just a little bit of self-consciousness, right? A little bit of a difficult kind of internal dialogue, right? We've got this Eight of Swords down here in our general energy. So it is kind of something that we almost fall into a self-sabotage kind of energy, right? Well, let's do our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. Going to use the Waite-Smith deck. I just ordered the vintage Waite-Smith deck, which is borderless, and it seems like it maybe has a little bit more of an antique-y kind of vibe to it. I think that'll be a nice addition to our channel here. One card, Alien on top. I'm going to set that right over there. We're not going to look at it until the end. And hopefully at the end of everything, that card will tie things together and give us the confirmation that we need at the end. Okay, so major, 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 fire, fire. Then we have some air, some water, and some earth. Pretty balanced. We've got some of everything. A lot of major arcana here, though, behind us, right? This is what's going on now, and this is kind of what is pushing us forward. It's like our chariot is leading us. Right? We're the charioteer, and it's almost as if our energy, our inertia, our spirit is just pushing. The universe is just pushing us forward. And it could be a situation where things are really accelerating. Your life is really improving drastically, very quickly, and that's giving us a little bit of anxiety maybe, right? Because of how fast things are happening. But let's do the Four of Wands here. I love the Four of Wands. This is all about taking that creative fire and manifesting it in something physical, right? It's taking some stones, the physical building blocks, right? It's taking the material, the resources in our physical world, in our horizontal world, right? And creating a space, creating a circle, a designated area, creating the machine, basically, into which we put this fire energy, this creativity, our will, our intention, our spirit, and our soul, right? So your creativity, whatever work you do, whatever, I don't know if this is even necessarily, let's say, work-related. This seems to me like it's a more far-reaching energy. It's not just kind of specific into what you do every day, your work and your activities. This feels to me like it's a big shift in your life generally, that you're taking your will, your intention, your soul and spirit, your divinity, and you're manifesting it, right? You're expressing yourself in your world, in the things that you are creating in your world. Even if it's, the way that you've decorated your home, or the clothes that you're wearing, or the places that you like to visit, the kind of art that you like to look at, the kind of art that you create. The things that you do with the physical world around you are an expression of your inmost self, okay? And I think this is playing out in these campfire kind of creations, right? We take those stones of the material world, we build a designated ring, and we light the fire in the middle. And that's containing the fire temporarily, right? That's an expression of the fire. That's a place, kind of a safe place, right? With the stones, we're responsible campers here. It's a safe place for that fire energy to glow, to manifest, to burn, to express itself, to light the world, right? Or at least our little section of the park here. And this is literally you, I think, expressing yourself in kind of, self-designated areas, right? With intention, with will, with a definite plan, with a lot of this spiritual energy kind of pushing you, and really just it's activating us, I think, in our full energy centers, right, from top to bottom, full chakra activation here, and it's being expressed in the world as this intentional, creative effort. Okay. I think you're an intensely creative person. I think that you need a structure into which you can put your creativity, right? Otherwise, maybe your creativity is a little bit more reserved. It's a little bit more safeguarded, which we see in this Chariot card, right? The Chariot card, the charioteer, is in full armor, right? The full canopy, the works, okay? And holding on to that orb, that holy grail, that creativity, that soul that is yours, safeguarding it. So I think in order for you to really feel comfortable expressing your creativity, being yourself, letting that soul out, right? Letting the Holy Spirit out into the world, you need a structure. You need kind of, I know maybe this is a little too cliche, but you need like a safe space to do that. You need a my daughter's toy just turned on all by itself. Sorry, it took me a moment to realize what was happening. Hopefully I don't get any copyright strikes for that. No, that was really strange. And this was a very interesting way to demonstrate this Four of Wands, right? Because this is like a spontaneous act of expression, but it has to be in a form. It has to be in a safe place. It has to be in a structured environment, right? So I think that this is kind of what is most conducive to you, is creating an environment around you where you feel comfortable enough to express yourself, right? And that thing's still going. That's weird. We always have the coolest readings here for Cancer. I feel like I've been having the most fun with the Cancer readings lately. And maybe it's because it's our birthday season, right? Yay for us. It just seems like these readings are just kind of, they're getting a little wild. And I like that. And it's kind of, again, it's a reflection of this card. It's a controlled chaos. It's a controlled burn, let's say, if you're, into astronomy or space travel or whatever that's called. Anyway, I kind of got thrown off track there. But I like the Four of Wands for us. I think it's a perfect expression of how we are able to express ourselves, right? And I think that this is your environment now. And I think that you've set this up for yourself, or it kind of feels like maybe the universe is setting this up for us. This really, this environment, this life, this energy around us that is so conducive to us expressing our creativity, okay? And we know that all of these expressions, right, the physical manifestations of those are temporary, right? The Four of Wands shows a temporary completion of that project. Now, it could be that you're working on many different things in your life. You have a lot of irons in the fire, so to speak. But they are all part of a larger transformation, a larger path, a larger whole process. And here's that death card. I think we're really undergoing this creative transformation. It could be that you're working intentionally on self-transformation. It could be that through all of these temporary campfires, that you are slowly, very slowly, almost imperceptibly, transforming your life for the bigger picture, for the long haul, right? You're trying to do all these little things, and maybe it's not even really a conscious thing, because we have all of this major arcana energy. We have the priestess underneath it all. And this is kind of a subtle or unconscious influence down here with the priestess card, right? The priestess is the moon. Cancers are ruled by the moon. So we're almost being driven, well, we're being driven by our chariot, but the driving force behind the chariot, let's say, is this priestess energy. This is a divine influence. These are miracles that are working in our life through us that we are perhaps just becoming aware of. We're not even really sure where they're taking us or what their purpose is or where we're going or why. But we can feel this subtle influence. And this is a really strong spiritual connection. This is probably a lot of synchronicities in your life. It's almost as if through these kind of synchronicities, the universe is just kind of winking at you, right? And that just lets you know that, hey, we're in this together. We share this secret with each other. And, it's almost like that, like a secret handshake with the universe, And I really think it's coming from this high priestess rulership over this chariot energy. Okay, so this is the kind of wisdom, the inspiration, the creativity, the spiritual source, the really divine energy that's driving the chariot, and then the chariot in turn is carrying us forward. And it's almost like we're just a passenger in this process, right? But we have to keep in mind that all of these energies are part of us, and we are part of spirit. So it's not like we're just kind of unwilling, passive participants, We have a direct influence on this through our conscious efforts, through this intention. What Castaneda would say is the influence of intent, right? There has to be a willed effort. It's not haphazard. We said it was the controlled chaos, and I think the control of the chaos is giving it intent, right? Giving it a form, giving it a purpose, having it a reason why we're doing everything. Even if that reason isn't extraordinarily clear. And we do see some confusion on the path of the serpent. And this is kind of what's going on. This is kind of the shadow side of things, right? This is what we're experiencing in the world, in ourselves, in a conscious way. This is kind of the shadow, right? But let's continue with these major arcana, because these are really, really strong influences. Back to this death card. I almost feel like this should be called the rebirth card, the born again card. Because I feel like there are so many things in our lives that we can sublimate, I think a lot of this confusion, a lot of this self-doubt, a lot of these, we see on the shadow side here, we see a lot. We see the Seven of Cups even. So there's a lot of these kind of negative thoughts, negative emotions that I think we're really attempting to sublimate them. It's almost like a bhakti yoga kind of thing, if you're into the Eastern stuff. Offering all of these kind of negative emotions and thoughts, almost just releasing them. Not trying to fight against them, trying to be in harmony with them and let them go. Devote them to this higher purpose. Give them to God, as they would say, goddess, deity, or spirit, universal mind, whatever you want to call it. And I think that is, again, part of this moon energy. This is full moon priestess energy that really is the motivating force. Again, I was going to say the driving force, but I like the chariot as the driving, This is that subtle influence, the spiritual motivation. This is perhaps the intent, right? To let these things go, these negative thoughts and emotions, negative energy, I think negative behaviors, letting all of this go so that we can receive these miracles, so that we can be open and receptive to the miracles that are coming into our life. And it's not just this kind of little feeling of something big happening. These big things are happening, right, objectively. And that, I think, is very much this Four of Wands. We're seeing things materialize. And those things are materializing because of our efforts. And we are hard workers. Here's the devil energy up above everything. Anyone who says that cancers are lazy is obviously has never met a real cancer before. I don't think you are lazy by any means. I think you are intensely devoted. I think that you could be so committed to something that you may really obsess over it, right? That you may be so consumed by whatever you're into in the moment, this temporary, intentional expression of your soul, right? The Four of Wands. You may be so committed and devoted and obsessed with that it may actually start to generate some of this confused thinking, negative thinking, self-sabotage, and then it may look like inaction, right? Maybe that's where the stereotype of the lazy Cancer comes in. Or that we're just so emotional that we can't do anything. I mean, they think of Cancer as a water sign, but you know what? It's the cardinal water sign. It's the fire of that water, right? And for us to have this kind of fire, to have this intention, to be this devoted, committed, obsessed with our activities, our relationships, our work, our projects, our spirituality, whatever it is, whatever you're doing, it has to have that water connection. It has to mean something to us, right? It's not just fortune and fame for its own sake. There has to be an emotional connection. There has to be some love there, It has to hit us either in our sentimentality or in our feels. We have to really be in it in order to fully express this fire energy. But then once you have that connection, that fire energy is really unstoppable. And interestingly, this Devil card rules the sign of Capricorn, excuse me. And Capricorn is the cardinal earth sign. So it's taking that fire that we generate through that water energy, that connection, channeling that fire now into the earth, into productivity, into manifestation, into materializing our intentions. So it's very, very interesting elements that we have here. And even the Scorpio, the Death card, water energy. So it's an interesting flow. And we'll see if we can follow the flow of energy here. We're starting out with the Chariot card. This is us driving forward, being driven, being motivated, being pushed forward by the inertia of the universe. We've built up some momentum in our life. Things are happening, right? We're going places. Because we have this water connection, we are discovering what truly matters to us. What things in our life are we really putting our heart and soul into, right? Could be one thing, could be many things. Could be we're still searching for those things. But once we find something that we can put our heart and soul into, it begins this process of transformation. Here's the water again. So we go from this water connection to now that water starting to transform us, starting to really erode away some of the the barnacles on our shell or whatever. And through this water energy, we then get this fire going, right? It's that cardinal water. So the fire starts to ignite. And that fire, that passion, that creativity, that ambition, that confidence, which most people don't associate with Cancer, but it's there. Through this water, through this transformation, see, water ignites the fire. The fire ignites our stamina, our endurance, our ability to obsess and just stay fixed on something until we manifest it. And then we've got the earth energy that comes off of that, right? So it's a very interesting flow of energy. And I think that really, for me at least, I mean, this is resonating with me. This is what it takes to really get us, well, to get us motivated, honestly, to get us really following through with things, seeing things through to the very end. And sometimes it happens that we'll be prompted by the Spirit that just says, this is no longer for us, right? And this is the difficulty, I think, with us, because these two cards are on opposite ends of the vertical axis here. We're so obsessed with something, we get so fixated on it, that when Spirit tells us it's time to pivot, switch directions, it's time to let this go, maybe this is run its course, we can be done, we can walk away. Sometimes we don't do that because we still are in this devil energy. We're still so fixated on it, still tied up in it. And that's where we get this stereotype of Cancers kind of being unable to let things go. You know, I'm sure people have said that. I'm sure you've heard that. But that's just part of who we are, right? And this is the struggle, kind of listening to our gut or staying fixated and focused and committed to what we're doing. We have to kind of know when to walk away from things. Know when to just say, it's done, I don't need to tinker with it anymore, there's nothing else I can fix, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Now, in the immediate future, we see the Six of Wands. This is us when we can triumph over the duality of this energy, the kind of opposition here between our instinct and our focused impulse, you know. We really, when we win out over this, when we're able to reconcile these, we stay fixated, but we listen to our spirit, we listen to our gut, we know when it's time to move forward, to move on, maybe to put these stones back in their place, extinguish the campfire, and move on to the next project, right? Or the next whatever it might be. So with the Six of Wands here, this is very interesting because it's a doubling of the three. Okay, so this is knowing our limits and our boundaries, knowing when to say when. This is really a card about virtue and character and kind of doing what's right, knowing how to reconcile these two, the priestess and the devil, right? It's kind of the angel and the devil on either shoulder. And one card is telling you, and it could be the opposite way. One card's telling you, maybe the priestess is telling you, look, you have to stick with this. And the devil energy here is telling you, no, move on to that thing over there. That's way more exciting. So it could be switched around, these energies. But the point is that we're stuck in the middle here. And when we can reconcile that, then we really feel this kind of victory or triumph. Over ourselves, really, that we completed something and we're moving on to the next thing, and it's a real sense of empowerment when we create, you know. And you know, I wonder if you've had experiences like this where you've caught the fire for something. Maybe it's drawing or painting, or maybe it's gardening or a sport or a musical instrument. You're so excited, so enthusiastic to do it. After a while, we start getting this devil and this high priestess, you know, devil and angel on either shoulder, and we're not sure what to do. I kind of think doing that thing over there is going to be more exciting. That's for me over there. But the angel is saying, look, you've committed to learning to play guitar, just keep practicing, right? And then the devil is saying, oh, well, the drums are way, way more fun over there. So do we end up just dropping one thing? Do we stick with the current thing and then we just find that we're a little bit miserable? Do we push through to the end and find out that, this is beautiful, this is what we've always wanted? So it's kind of difficult for a Cancer to know where to put that creative energy, And that, I think, is part of the dilemma, part of the air and the water energy and the shadow side here on the path of the serpent, is this idea that we always, here's the Seven of Cups, we're jumping ahead a little bit, that the grass is always greener on the other side. This card is saying, oh God, I really don't like what I'm eating. Can I have your lunch? Can I try some food over there? Can we go to a different restaurant even? And I think it's because, for one thing, Cancers are that cardinal water sign, that fire of water. So when we catch a feeling for something, when something really motivates us and grabs our heart, we want to focus all of our intention on it. And that's a wonderful skill, right? It doesn't mean we're easily distracted. It just means that we're so full of this love and this creativity and this passion that it's sometimes hard to ignore most of it, to just focus on what we have right here. To focus on our current commitments rather than already setting up the next 3 or 4 or 5 projects that we're going to do. And the example that I always use is, one night I'll think, God, I really want to study like the Tao Te Ching tonight, and I'll start to read the Tao Te Ching, and then I'll think, oh gosh, but I really would like to read some King Arthur myths or something. And then I'll just think, well, and then I end up looking through my bookshelf and just kind of browsing for hours, and I end up not reading anything. And I know I use that example all of the time, but that to me really represents that Cancer feeling where you just are in love with so much. It's really hard to know where to focus that fire, right? We have to try to really laser focus the fire. Otherwise, it just kind of fizzles out into different directions, and we don't get that connection with anything because it's spread out between so many different things, right? So I think the Six of Wands here is about us finding that laser focus. It's when the devil and the angel and the chariot and all of these energies just come together in perfect harmony. And then we're able to just fully commit to what we're doing and find that connection and have that laser focus. But on the shadow side here, path of the serpent, we've got this 8 of Swords. This is a lot of that. Just, we've already talked about this kind of the mental aspect of it. This card is really about the constant browsing and the never actually choosing. Like, we're looking at the menu. We want all of it. God, I love all of this stuff. How do I decide? How do I choose? Looking at my books. I've got bookshelves all around in my studio here. What book do I want to read tonight? Which book do I want to study right now? I love all of them, right? So how do we get that laser focus to really hone in on that one and stay committed to it and block out all of the distracting? There's the Prince of Swords, more air on air on air, and then we've got some water and some earth coming up too. But how do we block out that little voice in the back of our mind that says, it's probably that devil on our shoulder that says, oh, hey, go look at that other book. That one is going to be really, really fun, exciting. It's that one you're really going to love, And I think it's because Cancers are so full of love for so much, we have a difficult time narrowing it down. And sometimes that could look like laziness or indecision or inactivity. And that's a lot of the eight of Swords is kind of being tied up in these thoughts and not really not really going anywhere, making any progress because we're so kind of tied up in thinking about so many different things. And that, of course, is the air energy with this Prince of Swords here. Now, the Prince of Swords is in the position of your environment. So I wonder if that is maybe a suggestion to us to simplify our environment. Maybe our environment has too many choices around us. Now, maybe not doesn't mean that I should, get rid of all my books and just have like one or two on the shelf. No. Maybe I should kind of simplify my choices. Give myself a curated list of a few that I'm going to focus on, this month or whatever, or this season or something. And then, when it comes time to really get to work and to decide, you've got a few options, but not so many, right? So maybe it is kind of about simplifying things, not giving ourselves as many choices, and that's something that we can do with intent. That's something that we can consciously, intentionally focus on and try to do for ourselves. Because next we've got this Seven of Cups. It's in the position of what we don't want. We don't want to be focused on one thing and our heart is really kind of yearning for something else. If I'm studying the Tao Te Ching and my heart's just kind of like, God, that King Arthur myth would be so, so wonderful to read right now, or if you're playing guitar and the whole time you're just like looking over at those drums like, man, I wish I was playing the drums right now. That's really not I don't like that, It doesn't seem like that is a real healthy way to do things, because we're not fully enjoying what we're doing in the moment because we're just kind of like, we're thinking about what we could be doing that would be even better, even though the reason we're here now is because we had that feeling first about this thing, right? And what we really want at the end, 3 of discs, we really want to excel at something, right? We really want to have that focus so that we can, kind of make a name for ourselves. We don't want the fortune and glory, really. We just want to get really good at something and almost to prove to ourselves that we can overcome some of this innate Cancer energy and focus on something long enough to really master it, really get good at it, And I think we're good at a lot of things. And again, that's kind of part of the issue. Because we are so good at so many things, how do we really specialize our energy? How do we get so good at one thing that we're just masters of it, But I think we're on the path toward that. I think with this energy, these miracles are real, These things that we're doing now, they are happening. And I think we have all of this kind of divine energy, all of these blessings of this major arcana. And then as soon as I said that toy started talking again. That's really creeping me out. We have this divine influence. We have this spiritual energy. I think now's the time that we can commit ourselves to what really has meaning for us and resist the temptation to kind of go to the next thing that has meaning for us, right? It's not that we're easily swayed or changeable or distracted. That's not it. We have such intense passion about things, about so many things, right? I really hope YouTube doesn't hit me with a copyright for that music. Anyway, mystery card. Let's take a look at this and see what this might tell us. And this is one of the weirdest readings that I've had, I think. Mystery card may be showing some mental clarity. That's what I'm voting for if we're voting here. Let's see. Ooh, interesting. No, 3 of discs again. It's a repeat of this card. So yeah, this is telling us that what we want is to specialize and really master like 1 or 2 things, and that we're going to, right? And you're going to be recognized for this. You're going to be the expert in your field. You're going to be at the top of your game. You're going to have that sense of accomplishment and mastery because now you understand. The 3s are all about understanding. And this is understanding I think understanding the flow of this energy, the spiritual energy that is working its way through these elements, the elemental energy, that's leading us to this kind of success and achievement that we want. Now, we understand how the fire and the earth work. We understand kind of the water and the air aspects of ourselves, but we know how the fire and the earth work. We know how to manifest that fire. So I think if we focus on the path of the dove, we can achieve this kind of mastery, but we can't discount this shadow kind of energy here, which, I think is just showing us the kind of obstacles or the distractions from getting to this 3. The 3 over there and then the 3 again here. So this is a really wonderful reading, and I think this is really showing some intense spiritual activity in your life. And I think that the time is now for us to really hone in on what we want to do, who we want to be, how we want to express our creativity. Let's get to work, Cancer. We're going to do an extended. Click right here for the extended. I want to thank you for taking this journey with me, and thank you for being the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot.